like that, I'm Andrew Smith, South Electrics, and projects in Harnett, Johnston County. And in Johnston County, I have just finished a project, Hannah Creek Road, small subdivision over there, and then we had one over on Thurles Road. That's pretty much the extent of what I have in Harnett. I mean, in Johnston County. In Harnett County, we're working on one on Nursery Road, subdivision there, down from Henderson Creek Law. I think that's the extent of what we have going on in Harnett, Johnston County, for subdivision that I work on the great one. Outside of that, we have routine maintenance, and whole thing jobs, projects that that's going on. So,
Tell me again, do you have a master doing any of that, or y'all doing all the pole change outs yourself?
Carolyn Power is doing most of that work,
Okay.
and a lot of the servicing is general construction. And that's pretty much what we have.
Yes, I'm Casey with South River. I'm heading north.
You just have lots of projects.
I don't have any outside of the building projects.
Outside the administrative projects.
I'm Jeff Sheffield. I'm visiting. I was entertaining them with old war stories. My experience with call before you dig and digging in the ground goes back 40 years. I guess I saw the birth of call before you dig. And I live in Princeton and I'm retired and I looking at trying to find something to occupy my time, and always enjoy being involved with protecting our facilities on the ground.
Yeah, glad to have you. Nice. It's Lynetta.
I'm looking at a town of place located, you don't have any project.
You don't have anything going on for town plan right now. No. Just how busy are you as a locator?
Not. I might have 5 tickets. I might have 5 tickets.
Wow, wow. Isn't that interesting how a couple months back, how crazy busy it has been, and then things are maybe so, but listen, buckle up, buttercup.
Yeah.
It's about to be a wild ride. I promise it will get busier.
Yeah. So I'm Brandon Johnston, with the town of Andrew. We have lots and lots going on, several subdivisions, maybe probably 5 under construction now, large 300 lot subdivision, 250, 300 lot subdivision.
Wow.
Got 55 bypass coming in. So a lot of, probably, I think, two miles of utility relocations with that project that we'll have to deal with. So we got clean fiber coming in a couple months. So I think they're projected delay, 7,000 feet a day, fiber. So got that going on, and then, we got core replacement under design. So that's our core water system. Soon to be coming down the line. I think got started on that. That's under design right now. So a lot going on. And then, just our standard routine maintenance, water main breaks, things of that nature that we have to deal with. So.
Hopefully we'll have a mild winter, but it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Yeah.
Aging infrastructure is gonna bust and break.
We're a growing community, got a lot going on. I stay ahead of.
Johnson, down at Andrew, or the same projects, we work together, so.
Right.
We said John Rancher, and I used to try to keep up with the locates, not the locator, but we probably average anywhere between 200 and 250 a month. And for the most part, now, so just a lot of things going on at Brandon AC.
Now, have you guys been using the WebTMS application?
as far as
to
like,
manage your locates.
yes, as far as positive response and then, single ticket
Yeah.
entry and things of that nature. Yes, ma'am.
So you do know that, Web TMS is going away October 1, right?
Explain that with the, yeah, that's very.
All right. So, October 1, the Web TMS software, which manages your locates. So you were just talking about, hey, I keep up with the locates and, that software is end of life. Okay, so from NC 811, it's been free. That software has run its course, it's end of life. And so Northfield, the folks that we have our software through, they offer another application that if you haven't been reached out to, we certainly need to communicate with you all on that. There's other project management software out there. There's Philosphere, there's, there's multiple different project management systems out there for you to manage your locate. Just want to make sure that you guys don't get, called in the next couple of weeks. And all of a sudden, Web TMS has gone away and all your tickets will come directly through email. So same with you guys.
Locator logic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Entire through an email.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it'll continue to do that.
Yeah, so anybody that has been using Web TMS, once it goes away and they haven't chosen something, they'll start getting them via email.
Okay.
But if you're still comfortable with that,
Well, listen, we've been managing it pretty.
really?
Yeah, how we do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did someone print out your?
Well, we basically, a lot of us run it off the positive response, like a ticket due by. We'll kind of manage it through that.
Okay,
I get an app.
so when the email comes in,
Check it daily.
Okay.
So first thing in the morning, we check our
Gotcha.
email daily. And then at that point, we'll, it just depends on who locates that week. We manage it from either print them out. Some of the older guys, they like to print them out, they like to have second copy. Some of us, we use it right off the 811 website, positive response.
yep,
portion. So
yeah.
that would work.
And you can do that from your app. I mean, when you're out on the, out on.
iPad, that's
Yeah,
what we-
iPads, that's great, great. So just a reminder, to let everybody know, October 1, as Lynetta said, they've gone with Locator Logic. The look and feel of that is a little different. We have had, just so you know, Lynetta, for your use, I know when Ralph mentioned the other day at the state UCC, the look's a little different. I think Locator Logics, you're not able to see as many tickets, on one stream as you had maybe with Web TMS, but they're working on that to maybe try to add you the ability to see more. One of the other things I had heard was that maybe the screen when you're in your vehicle, your laptop's over here, you may have some sun coming in, the background maybe not as dark enough. So they're working on a few little tweaks there to make sure that you'll be able to see it okay. Are you having any issues?
Only question that I had about it, if you pull up the ticket and Web TMS, it automatically pop up.
Mhm.
Now they have it where, I forgot what it's called. That little paragraph there to the description of the ticket.
Yeah,
You have to go in and hit original ticket.
right, get the number,
Yeah, there's no
okay,
reason for-
gotcha,
The first thing pops up.
gotcha,
It kind of throws us off.
yeah.
Locate this, and I had to go in and figure it out. Why wasn't I seeing the original ticket?
Yeah, I think that was a question from, Ralph too, of where's the original ticket? And if you see that original ticket number, that's what you click on, correct?
No.
No.
They have original tickets in the past.
Well, you can actually go in the ticket that you're in and click on the original ticket on that ticket and it should pop up. That's what I did with him other day. So we can get offline and kind of take a look at it. But anyway, just FYI, if you're using the Web TMS software, it is going away October 1.
So let me ask you a question about this, whatever application you're using,
Locator Logic.
Locator Logic.
Mhm.
So we get a lot of, I guess, updated tickets, things of that nature. Does it compile all of those tickets from that same original locate? Or like
Yeah.
one?
Well,
How does it exactly?
I mean, it's a ticket management system, so you should be able to see any and all of your tickets. And like Renetta's saying, it's a little bit different in Web TMS, had the ability, I mean, just I guess, the visual aspect of it.
Yeah.
And now she's got to dig in a little bit deeper to find that. I guess,
I guess what you're saying.
So, I mean, we get, multiple tickets are updated and updated and updated, they might be putting in a 5 mile force main or something of that nature and. It might go on for a year,
right.
you know what I mean? Now, do all
I've
that,
had since 2 years on bought a ticket. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, those, the way we work it off the email, we get that ticket again over and over and over.
Yeah.
Now, I was asking, with this
Same thing.
application, same thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like compile it into one.
Nope.
Okay.
No, same thing.
All the tickets, all the ticket numbers that, the last ticket that they call in, say like they're gonna call in 30 tickets prior. That's what they call in today. You open the tickets today, you see all those 30 tickets.
But it's all on, it's at the bottom.
Okay.
You'll see the ticket number, the prior ticket up there, and then on the bottom, it'll list all of the prior tickets, so. And- Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more. I got a slide in here on the LRTC, which we're meeting tomorrow, and I'll kind of fill you in on that a little bit when I say my presentation. Yeah, I will, so who needs to be the contact? Contact you? Okay. I will, shoot a message over to, Northfield and see if they can reach out to you. Phone number and emails, all accurate. Okay, all right. So it will be coming from Northfield.
Okay.
So Web TMS had been, though it had been free, it was one of those, things that we offered to the member. And that cost was kind of absorbed, but now that software has end of life, then we are totally out of the loop. So you would be dealing directly with Northfield if you're interested in that product. But there's multiple ones out there, certainly for you.
It's a small figure. From what I was told, pretty cheap for them.
For the,
Okay.
It's not expensive.
Now,
and
with
it's based
that,
on your volume.
Yeah.
It's typically, you're on a tiered based on the volume of tickets, or transmissions that you see.
now, if we went that route, I guess we're getting a bill now for April.
Yes. Okay, so
Would that go away?
no.
No.
No. These are two separate things. This is for you to manage your tickets, okay? This is software to manage your tickets. And then what you're getting now is based on the requirement of the law as you're required by the member, to be a member based on membership. And then you pay based on the percentage of budget by your transmissions. So your fee would be different from Clayton's, your fee would be different from the EMC here. So depends on the amount of transmissions. And then it correlates back to that percentage of the budget. And then it breaks it down by a 12-month period. So that's why you get the same bill. And then we'll look at it again at the end of the year. So if your ticket volume's reduced, the next year, the overall fee per month will potentially be less. So the Duke Energies, they're paying the bulk, the AT&Ts, they're paying the bulk. But it's all based on back to the budget because you guys own us. We're nonprofit owned by the member utility. So you guys are the owner of 811.
Look at it, they're like, they're in town, and they could have a abundance of other utilities in that grid. So they could generate a lot of money. They pay someone out from the hill there. But we have to
Correct.
look at it. Exactly, consider it, say, if hypothetically, if we both had 150. Their side could be better, right, because they have more security.
Well, yeah, because it just means the transmissions, they're getting more transmissions compared maybe to you.
I mean, but that, in theory, that if we had the same number of tickets, then, because there are more contributors.
Correct. And so you have one ticket and on average, there's about 5.3 to 5.4 transmission. You get more into, as you said, a city, you have more utility. Okay, so that means you're gonna get more transmission. So yes,
Because it's spread out.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're in the rural area, there may only be three utilities that are getting that ticket. The city, there may be 6. City of Charlotte, there may be 9. Yeah, so,
It's essentially that probably didn't tickets. I won't say redundant tickets, but tickets.
well, the other,
Yes.
yes.
Electric. You get tickets from so many different tickets.
Subcontractors for building homes, I mean,
Yeah.
plumbers.
Yeah, these subdivisions are killing you. They're killing you, absolutely. Yeah. Yes,
So you guys might be doing any work out in that area.
right,
So per home
Well-
bill, you can look at least five to 10 tickets per house.
yeah.
From different subs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got your main infrastructure work going in,
Yeah.
and then you got the grading, and then, what we try to get those graders to not keep updating those tickets if they're not doing work. And so, because if they're inundating the system, some may say, well, I need to keep it updated, so when I go back to do the final grade, well, that could be months and months and months down the road, so don't update your ticket. Because that's more into the system that you all members are paying for. So that's why, let us know if you see these repeat offenders that you feel like, are just causing too much excess in the
I
system.
can give you a long.
We'll talk some, about it. I'm sure once I show you the top 10 callers in each county, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's one of them. Number one.
So I had to call the supervisor, I'm not walking it to you, until you want me to sign. You guys, I think it was like the first time. I was like, no, this is a waste of time, waste of my time, and waste of time, money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a liability to market if it's called in. I mean, because of the
Yeah.
damage, and we don't know they're doing the work. And it's not marked, and we're liable.
So what we have tried to do over the last months is to remind folks, the way our software works is if you put a ticket in, the ticket's good for 15 working days. So that's typically what, 3 weeks, okay? And then if you're not actively working, let the ticket, run the life, okay? Let it expire. And then that ticket can stay in our software system for up to about 90 days. So if you're ABC contractor and on day, say, 45, okay, I've been waiting on a part, I've been waiting on this, and now I can go back to work, then update your ticket at that time. And then that way they're not getting ticket after ticket after ticket. So that's why we're trying to really focus in on those top offenders. And yeah, like you said, you'll see those top 10 when I hop on there. So why don't
You'll be in a couple.
Call in advance. I thought that Parrish had said, and I could be wrong. I thought that he said when you called in a day, you could specify that it only needs to go to this. Like, a phone line, it only needs to go to right speed or whatever, if we know, so that every company on that ticket isn't still because they're located.
No, on a damage, that is a report of damage. So when that gets transmitted over, it's to tell everyone in that area, we've had a hit here, please come check your utilities. So everybody gets, that goes out to everyone, that report of damage. And then on top of that, every report of damage then goes up to You were just talking about CGA, all of that's reported directly to Common Ground Alliance, to the dirt data. So no, the only one that you can specify is the 3-hour ticket. The 3-hour, you can ask, hey, you haven't been out, I just need, I just need this utility to be marked. Don't want me to bless your food. All right. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you, Lord, with just a grateful heart, Lord, just a beautiful day that you provided. And Lord, we just praise you for all the many things that you provide to us and for us. And Lord, we give you praise and honor for that. Lord, I ask that you just bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies. Lord, just thank you for these people that are represented today. Lord, just keep them safe, Lord, keep our utilities safe. And Lord, we just glorify and honor you. For these things we ask. Amen. So while you guys are grazing, do you want me to pop into this? Okay. All right. Okay, so we've had a lot of stuff already going on for September, and of course the fall is already upon us. We had a state UCC meeting last week. Lynetta was there representing, so we appreciate her attending. We had a good representation of utilities across the board. And so with that, one of the things that we mentioned was the next joint conference that's coming up is going to be over in Charleston. We don't know exactly where yet. We're waiting for the South Carolina state UCC to let us know, but we do have a date nailed down, April 30th through May the 3rd, and we'll continue to remind you all when it is so that you can kind of save the date. But just stay tuned and we'll let you know whenever the location has been chosen as far as the facility. Now, tomorrow, I have what is called a Locate Resolution Partnership Committee. For those of you that may not be familiar, you guys were talking about excessive updates. So back in probably 5-6 years ago, this committee kind of was a spinoff of the local UCCs. We kept hearing the same old thing. We are just, continually getting all these update tickets. What can we do? It was getting heated in some of the UCCs, so we decided that we would start really focusing on some of the major issues. And one of the biggest things was the update tickets. Currently, and I'll show you in the numbers, and it varies by month, but when we first started out, it was about 28% of all the ticket volume was update tickets. That has increased. And even with this Locate Resolution Partnership Committee, we continue to see increased updates, but obviously the climate has changed. All this fiber come from COVID. Now we are seeing anywhere from 30, 31, 32% monthly of updates. So we continue to focus. So tomorrow I will give reports on, these are the highest volume of contractors placing tickets who say that their work is going to take 1 day or less with 2 or more updates. So now we're focusing, drilling down into the weeds and trying to go talk to these contractors. Hey, you're inundating the system. Locator resources, there's just not enough. Locator resources, not enough. What can we do to reduce that volume? So I would encourage you, if you've got a little bit of time tomorrow, this is a hybrid meeting. You can hop online and we'll share those reports and then talk about the projects that are coming. Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you guys a link. The other thing on this is, all these projects like Lumos, that are now have all this fiber coming in. We also have Google that's represented, Duke Power or Duke Energy, Dominion Energy, Piedmont Natural Gas. So all of these folks that have these major projects, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Just want to remind you all that school is back in session, and We have provided the link here to ncdot.gov. If you'll go out to their website and search school bus safety, if you're looking for something to share at a toolbox meeting, feel free. They've got some great videos out there. I'm still amazed that people do not know when to stop for a school bus other than if you're on a 2-lane highway. People pretty much know that, but it gives you a great little video about when to stop when you have divided highways. So now let's just kind of dig into the data. You'll notice I started, I had Steve go ahead and add for us the number of tickets so that if you go back and search the website, then you can see the numbers on the back end. Our month to date for August is up 3.3% compared to the same time last year in August. And it's just unbelievable amount of volume, and the majority of it is coming from the telco projects. As you see here, the volume for August, 247,083 locates, okay? So that's just locates, and then you've got your transmissions for that, and we'll talk briefly in the next couple slides. So that is the volume compared to last year, which was 239,263. For the month of August, we had 30% of the volume were update tickets. So that equated to 74,022 tickets were just updates saying, hey, my project's continuing on past this 15 working days, and it's just unbelievable. Now, that is actually a slight decrease compared to July, which it was at 30.2% of the volume. But it's been kind of teetering anywhere between 30 and 32%. So when we look at year to date, we are up 6.3% compared to last year. So altogether, we're at 1,788,600 tickets. A lot of volume. We are still running second as far as the state compared to Texas being number 1 in the nation. That's why you're seeing more and more people moving here. The weather is perfect. We continue to get, more and more people coming to North Carolina because you can work 12 months out of the year. Now, when we look at the transmissions, so as we said, for every ticket, there are on average about 5.3, 5.4 transmissions. So anywhere from 5 to 6 transmissions that go out for every ticket. Transmission wise, we're only slightly up 1.8%, and we are at 1,295,285 transmissions. I always like to do just some simple math. Just say on average, and I know this is low because you got overhead and all that. Just say it takes your staff to say $20 per transmission. So if you got $20 times 1,295,285, wow, that's $25 million that's being spent just in North Carolina today. Okay, so that's why we really focus on trying to take all that noise out of the system so that it will reduce the overall cost. Because guess what? The utilities ultimately in the end got to pass it along somewhere, right? So how do they pass it along? Our utility bills, right? So the more we can focus in the weeds and get people to understand the big picture, the more we can save the system. So year to date, we are at 9,567,649. So the numbers, I'm sorry, that I just gave you there was just the month. Now we're at the year to date, 9,567,000. So there's a lot of transmissions that have transpired in North Carolina, and it's only going to get busier. So here's a snapshot of Harnett. Your new tickets for the month of August, 2,132. And we like to kind of focus on the 3 hours and the updates. You're up 31.9%. So last month, did you seem busier? obviously, than you have been in September. Yeah. That's right, you're Johnston. What about Harnett?
It should be a steady increase every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, so compared to the same time last year. Anytime you see those 3-hour tickets, either people are abusing them or because I'm seeing that people are using the 3 hours when it really needs to be a destroyed mark. Are y'all seeing abuse on the 3-hour tickets?
Oh, yeah, I think it's really does. I thought like we don't see a lot of 3 hours.
We get scored more, man,
Yeah.
more than 3 hour people.
Well, just let me know if you're seeing folks that are abusing it, and that way we can reach out to them and say, hey, just so you know, and a lot of times it can be drilled down to, you know, a superintendent, maybe telling them to put it in that way.
Haven't seen, especially by the fact, we, we called in, just called and saying, hey, be outside of the police in 3 days, like, can I get a day or 2 extension before we can look at it? Like, I've had a couple calls like that, they're just over, like, okay.
Right. And so, and that's, you know, the use of it is only after the ticket has not been responded to and or you see evidence of a facility still in that area. So you want to make sure that it's located before you start work. All right, updates, 1,740 updates, 31.9%. Interesting on these canceled tickets, a lot of times we see canceled in that, you know, maybe our RTE department had talked to them for some reason and maybe they canceled, or maybe they realized, hey, I don't have my permits that I need, so I'm gonna cancel these and then place them back in. Many different reasons. So that's kind of the ticket volume for August in Harnett. When you look at the year to date, you're now seeing overall 16,890 tickets, which that's up compared to the same time last year. Definitely the 3 hours are up, and also the updates. Wow, look at that. That's up 50.3% compared to the same time last year. So, you know, obviously a wealth of projects. As I had mentioned, here's the county ticket distribution. And Jerry, you guys got 958 in August, 14, 16 were over and done, 69 in Millington, so on and so forth. You can see, and I'm not about to say that. How do y'all pronounce that? Springs? What? Calibit?
Calibit, yes.
Calibit. Oh, I would have so botched that.
And that's a fun one.
I would have said Calibate. Oh, Calibit. Okay, see, I learned something new today. Kipling, 187. Spout Springs, that's interesting. Is that just a little community? Okay, gotcha.
Entering and leaving on the same post.
Well, 104 tickets, that's fairly busy. So I don't know if there's a project going on there. So you guys were talking about RG, they're number one. They placed 282 tickets. I'm assuming, are they working for Spectrum?
We're right speed, one or other.
Right speed, okay.
I'm not sure which, but
Okay.
majority are the mass, I mean, lots of mass dead.
Okay, so, so is, Mastech, are they working for, Duke or?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Power, yes.
Um, this Evergreen, they land typically on my excessive update report, you know, as far as updates. I mean, they do a lot of work. GP Associates, I think they're Spectrum contractors too, right? Flatiron, that's probably DOT. Universal Cable, obviously that's telco. Who they working for? Go and take a look. Okay. DNA Utilities, Cable East, Cable East, Lumos, are they doing something? No, okay. Probably, Spectrum,
Which one now?
Cable East,
Take a look. That's even already in Angel.
okay. V1 Fiber and Wellens Construction, so those were the top 10 that were placing tickets. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at Johnston. Actually, the numbers were down. Back in August, the new tickets were down 27.8%. 3 hours dramatically decreased, updates decreased. So average locates per day, 211. That's year to date. I'm sorry.
So what's driving
I'm sorry.
Johnston County's numbers? Are they not approving a lot of building, or do you know? I mean, what we call that?
I know on the Princeton side, they had a moratorium on their sewer capacity.
Oh, really?
But I think the majority of the construction is west of Smithfield or over towards Clayton. But I think a lot of subdivisions have been built and they're not, there's new stuff coming, but they're in the early stages. Yeah.
Needs consistent maintenance to make sure it's functional for as long as possible.
So,
Their experts can schedule plumbing inspection for just $79, which
it's
includes
called Mount Rock for it.
test results may have you
New
ready
subdivision.
water treatment solution. And with their experts exclusive ease option to
New
plumbing,
subdivision
that
that
water
we're
treatment
talking
system
about
starts at just
Um,
$49.
that are about halfway there. And like I said, engineers looking at
Hey, this is Kyle for Sydney.
They are getting a lot of they're doing a lot of apartments and multifamily, right? And that reduces your number of tickets because
No, not necessarily.
does,
Yeah.
townhomes and single family home. I mean, you're doing the same thing.
okay.
You still have a house, but you have to have the catered one and each.
Starts with a there is. Still some competitors out there. Most apartment prices. Main reason.
Well, but
But it goes up.
the infrastructure money, it's just now, it's not all released yet by any means. I mean, it's just now beginning to, start being released. In fact, we've got a meeting tomorrow, with a map of where it's going, hopefully more so in the counties, and maybe we'll have some more forthcoming information for you. But, that'll kind of let us know a little more where all the infrastructure money and the counties is going to be affected.
Are y'all gonna share that with the public, because Matt?
I'll know more tomorrow. I would think so, absolutely, because it's public knowledge. I mean, if they're releasing it to us, then I would say so. So, oh, it's gonna get 2024. That's why I said buckle up, buttercup. It's gonna be crazy. Oh, wow. Well, it's become a bedroom community, so I think there's many places. Here is the ticket distribution for, that month of August. Bulk of it over in Clayton, Benson, Smithfield, and Selma. So you can see the bulk of it, 4 Oaks, 328, Willow Springs, Wilson's Mill. I mean, still, there's still a good bit of work going on. McGee crossroads. I mean, yeah. And probably a lot of it is, once again, that telco, because we saw even the same thing in, Harnett. Seems like the same group of sites up there, so they must be doing, are they working for y'all at all or nothing? Okay, so they must be doing separate days.
Yeah.
AT&T Utility Operations, Cable East, GP Associates, they're typically chartered. DN Underground, Moztec, ST Wooten, that should be DOT.
The ST Wooten would be
And
all
Platinum.
this work, a lot of this work along with
Cardinal.
70.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cardinal Civil, all of those probably DOT type projects. So, when we look at the damages, of those that have been reported, in Harnett, there were 33, Johnston were 21. As we say, month over month, we know there's more. These are the ones that were reported. Kind of gives you an idea. Mecklenburg and Wake, they typically teeter back and forth. Wake had 223 in August and Mac had 186. So, obviously that's typically the largest, counties in the state, but Durham had 81, Alamance 64, and, Guilford 69. So we, do place a lot in those, which I know Alamance has definitely got a lot of those going on, as well as I think Brightspeed too, so. All right, so this kind of gives you more of a trending of the, damages compared to the same time. So year over, and the blue represents 2023. So you see, we had a peak in March, came back down, and then we're beginning to shift back up. But still, to last year, June was the highest month. Now, nationally, when we look at nationally, typically August is, even back in 2018, August tends to be the highest month nationally. We talked about that yesterday, what determines that, and it's many different reasons. But typically nationally, August is always the month with the highest amount of damages. But I'll let you take your best guess. All right, well, that is our presentation. And I know Parrish is your liaison here, and hopefully he'll be back maybe sometime before Thanksgiving. Our hope is, and he'll be back on the prowl again to help you all. But otherwise, between now and then, I'll take care of you till then. These are just some of our other liaisons. We do have a liaison in each each region. And then I'll go ahead and post the presentation and use our minutes here as, or our recording as your minutes. Okay.
It's all pretty much. It's not.
As far as in regard to the updates or,
More time to attack. Put the general utility. It's both for the best challenge and what's happening. He's rich conscious that he's got cash for contractors to come in and make their money with not way.
yeah,
They're not, they don't care.
yeah.
So, I mean, what can be some kind of ramifications to be?
So when we, one of the things that we always focus on is who are they working for? Okay, so these people that are coming in, say they're working for you all, okay? And we want to always go back to the member because you're ultimately responsible for them. You're signing those master agreements with them. Now, who do you hold that person accountable is that master contractor? Because they're gonna hire all these other subs. So ultimately, it's got to be that communication between the member, the master contractor, and then that master, working with all those subs. a good example, which is, I know dealing with Howard out east, MetroNet. I don't know how much y'all heard about them. They've been on the scene for quite a while now. So they have lots of subs. MetroNet stood firm on, hey, we've got great policies here that they have to adhere to. But what was happening was these contractors were a dime a dozen. They were coming in. They didn't do their job. They're out of it. So now all those tickets that were dumped in the system, they're no longer good because they were called in under a certain contractor. Now you got a new contractor that's filling that spot. Now they're calling those same tickets in. So those were some of the issues that we've seen. So we try to really work close with the members to say, hey, make sure you're managing these contracts. DOT is another big one. They're just such a big entity. And I almost feel like they're so siloed, they can't keep up with the contract. So we're working on those. That's one of the LRPC. We have DOT coming. We have our top ticket receivers. That's about all you can do is to manage that. And then of course, at the end of the day, if you can't get, people to adhere, then you can certainly report it to the review board. We're beginning to see more complaints come in from homeowners. We're beginning to see more contractors calling out the members on not locating. Interesting, because a lot of times the contractors that are calling out, they're also calling out the people that they're working for. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but not responding to the tickets within the 3 working days. Yeah. So they're out there, they're wanting to do their work, but they can't do the work because the tickets aren't responded to, and located.
We've been having response to the constantly, but we've been out there and obviously too.
So you're obviously using a 3-hour ticket, right?
And then if that doesn't work, I'm calling.
Okay.
Or email or they're going out.
I've heard that happening lately in the last couple months. And if you would maybe document that of who you think it is, let us know so that we can determine. Most of the time we can pretty much drill it down to potentially one locator, or the volume of locates. And hey, this is what we're doing to get it off of our list. So keep in mind, if you're seeing, and I tell people this all the time, when you're as a contractor, say you put your ticket in, and then boom, within an hour, you're getting a no conflict, you can pretty much rest assured it's being screened. So is it Charter screening it? Is it AT&T screening it? Any of the big members could potentially be screening tickets. I'm good right now. I'm gonna do that. So if you're seeing that, please let us know, because that in turn brings up the question, are the maps accurate? So a requirement by law is every member has to provide us an update at least annually. We encourage you, do it as often as possible, so that it is accurate as possible. If you're seeing an influx of that, then we need to go back and say, I can usually go to member services and say, hey, have you had an update? And if they did, could there potentially been something left off? So one update overrides the other. So if they left off something, then the newest update is what's in the system. So those are some things that could potentially be happening. It's just a matter of just figuring it out. Why is this, happening?
We've been happy to keep it posted. I don't know where you get like deals too, because there'll be a ticket, and whoever calls in will call right back in and cancel it, like within like 20 minutes, and they'll bill us those tickets with, I know they haven't seen one out there. I mean, it takes usually at least 3 days to get them out there. I know they didn't send someone even on one ticket, but well, they say they did.
Now, keep in mind, if you've got a utility that's screening tickets, it's never gonna hit USIC. Or just say if they're located.
No, this is for our.
Right, yeah, I knew what you were saying.
Located for-
Right,
We don't screen the ticket.
right.
How does that go? Explain it to me. So. Things like the town calls in the city, yes, I think.
Depends on who they're working for.
It's for we pay USIC to locate for,
For
we don't
Oh,
locate ours.
oh,
Yeah.
The problems have not changed over the years. There was a company, I don't think they're around here, I don't remember their name now. But we were doing natural gas.